I'm going to teach y'all how to make a calculator in C++. So first we got to set up our parameters. Boom, we have set up our parameters. So IOStream is basically all the normal headers for C++. Integer main, which is a whole class function set. So in here, to start this calculator, we need a integer to represent whatever first number we're going to have, which would be addition, subtraction, multiplication, whatever. So put char for character, and op as the name for our integer. So that'll be a variable that we'll keep. So now we're going to add two more integers, which will be double num1, double num2, and then double result. You don't need to do this for the calculator, but I like to do it. So whenever the application runs, it'll have this little string, and it'll say calculator, and at the top. So at the bottom will be at the end of our application, which will basically, it'll just say that's the end. So everything we're going to do is going to be held between these two lines. So what we're going to do first is add the actual math. So what I wrote down here is at the top is it'll ask the user to enter either addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. This will basically give them a text box. They'll enter in what arithmetic they want to use. Then we'll ask them what number they want to use. Should have said that it'll store this as a integer, which is why we made the char integer up here, which stands for character. It's a character integer. And we're going to ask them what number. So we're going to ask them the number, and then they're going to enter a number. So then we're going to hold that number as a double integer, and it'll be stored up here. Then we're going to do the same thing with number 2 and enter down here. Alright, so basically we made a switch case operator. A switch case operator is used whenever you have more than one option. So usually if you had more than one option and it was just 2, you'd use a if-else statement, but those aren't really that optimized that well. So what we're going to do here is use switch case, because each case is like its own set of rules. And whenever we use the arithmetic plus or minus or times or divide, we will use that case that the user entered up here as OP. We saved that integer, or we saved the character, which is an integer class, which saves specifically character values. We will take that character value, and if it is a plus, we will take the integer that we entered up here, number 1, and we will use it to plus that with number 2, which is the integer we entered right there. Then what we'll do, we'll use standard count, which I'm pretty sure stands for character output. Actually, it does stand for that, but we'll print result. Then we'll show the integer result, which is what we just had up here, because these two will equal result. And then it'll show the result, then it'll break a new line. Then it'll do that for each case. So this one is negative symbol, so it'll take that integer and then minus that integer. And then in the case of this one, times integer number 1 times integer number 2 times that, and blah blah blah, does it all that. This is for division, so number 1 integer divided by number 2 integer. And then the break function will break the line. Default is whenever they put something that was not specified and will not work as an arithmetic. So let's say they just put in. That's not a valid operator. So we'll take standard character output. That wasn't a valid operator. The new line and then break. Also, I'm realizing that I didn't really explain some of these. I also didn't explain what double means. So there you can have a double integer, and you can have just a normal int. So double integers can hold point values. So you can hold the point value of up to 12 bits, I think. So like points up to that. You can hold that many points after. So usually use that for math and all that. Use string. You use double for math. An integer will hold just a whole value. So no points, just the whole value itself. Alright, so I'm in an application that'll actually compile our code, which means turn it into machine code, which the computer can read. So we'll hit run. It'll ask us, calculator, enter either plus. So we're gonna say I want the times. So we're gonna put in time symbol. Enter. So we're gonna do 20, and then we're gonna do 20. Result 400. So to fact check that, I got this calculator. We're gonna do 20 times 20, 400.